Can I show you all something I made that I'm really proud of? For my upcoming fantasy novel, I have made maps. I'm not really a map drawer, but I looked up a whole bunch of stuff. This is the zoomed in view. Right here's Iramont, where the story takes place. It's not labeled here because my writing's terrible and I'm going to do it on the computer. And then if you zoom out, you get the whole world of Trelvania. So Iramont is right there. But if you zoom in a bit more, you can get the upper lands, which is the horns of Trelvania. And then if you go to the bottom of that world map, you get Soulhaven, which is a tropical island paradise. I have crystal caves. All of these are going to get labeled on the computer, and I'm going to send it to my publisher so that maybe they can make a really awesome in-book map. And I don't know if they're going to go with like the full world with the horns. That's actually the tail of Trelvania, and down there's Soulhaven. Or if they're going to zoom in and do something more like what immediately happens in the story. Tavern Tale is a cozy fantasy with higher stakes, sapphic romance, and it mainly takes place here in Iramont. The main character, Divine, has lost her magic talisman and she's chasing it, and she's going to all these cities, but eventually where the story takes place is she's landed in Iramont hunting her missing talisman, and she walks into a tavern and meets the flirty tavern owner Saph, who has an eye patch and an axe. And she, Saph, will help Divine search for her missing talisman if Divine will help her solve a mysterious quest in a chest. So there's various places mentioned in the book, including up in the mountains, there's a hot spring called Daigle Hot Springs. All the way up north off this map is the capital, Erosia, which is where Divine comes from. She lives in the capital of Trelvania up here. So I've tried to make a map that shows all that. They also mention there's an iguana type humanoid creature known as the Egweans, and they come from Soulhaven. So when they're talking in the tavern, they come across some other non-human creatures, characters, races, and so Soulhaven's mentioned. But yeah, I don't know if my publisher will do the full everything map, but I figured I'd go ahead and draw as best I can everything and send it over and see what they'll do. But I'm very proud of what I've accomplished by just looking up some tutorials online and some resources, and I had a lot of fun drawing it, especially the horns of Trelvania, because there's like this step up here into a taiga forest, which goes into kind of a tundra zone. And then, so I've got all these like things represented, including the mountains. I just had lots of fun putting all the little details on the maps. So I can't wait to send it to my publisher once I get the names on it. And then we'll see what ends up in the final version of the book, Tavern Tale. I have a sort of mock-up of where names and labels would be. I found a font that's very close to like Bilbo's handwriting for the Lord of the Rings movies. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that the mountain range is called the Spine of Trelvania. So that whole thing's a Trelvania. You got the horns and the tail, and then the mountain is the spine of Trelvania. Tavern Tale is inspired by RPGs set in cozy autumn. It features a sapphic pairing of Saph and Divine. Sparks fly pretty early, so it's not a slow burn, but it is a fantasy adventure with romance as a key element. So it's a romantasy, but does have a lot of elements of classic fantasy, definitely pulled from the RPG vibes that I get from my favorite games like Dragon Age and Skyrim, D&D, and all of that, which is really close in that the quest in the chest. Like you walk into a tavern in Skyrim and somebody's like, yeah, I've got this quest for you, and they hand your character the quest, and you go off and you find out it's actually like this really important dragon claw to open these secret passages and such. So like those vibes of like getting a random quest from somebody that like the main character doesn't know, and trust everybody to like do the quest and the things happen. So I really wanted to have those vibes, as well as the cozy autumn vibe. So inside of Iramont, the city, it's happening during autumn, and there is an autumn festival. One of the goddesses is the goddess of harvest, and there's a festival kind of going on, and you get to experience the city in a very cozy, laid-back atmosphere before some more of the adventure stuff goes along. So I really liked adding the cozy elements with classic sword and sorcery type. Let's go on an adventure, and Saph has an axe, and of course there's that missing talisman of magic for our main character, Divine. So check it out.